Honorable Member, Professor Sodaroy ji.
Sir, I thank the Speaker for having this discussion on the climate change. I thank the Minister who was leader of the Indian delegation at COP26 in Glasgow for sitting throughout the debate. Sir, before I get enmeshed in other technical details, I have certain questions to ask the Minister. Even a week before COP26 at Glasgow, Indian government did not show any inclination to announce net zero target. Actually, Environment Secretary ruled it out in media. What prompted and under what pressure? The Prime Minister did a volte-face in Glasgow and announced net zero target in 2070. Is there any credible research available to vindicate the 2070 target? Has any discussion been carried out with the states about the target? 3, India agreed to phase down on coal in Glasgow. But why did it not push the developed countries on phasing out other fossil fuels, like oil and gas being mostly used by them? Sir, 4, if India has to implement phase down of coal, several coal prosperous states including West Bengal will be more affected than others. What the government has thought, we are just starting a coal project in Devcha Pachami. What the government has thought to make good the potential loss to be incurred by states like West Bengal and ensure that intra-country climate equity and just transition to environment-friendly energy. Lastly, in this part, I'd like to point out the Minister's attention to the problem of Sundarbans. It's the biggest mangrove forest in the world. And I request the Minister, if he is interested, to read 2 books by Amitabh Ghosh, the celebrated author, The Hungry Tide and The Great Derangement, where he has spoken about how human beings are destroying the world. Sundarbans is one of the well-known climate hotspots, being affected unprecedentedly by 4 major cyclones in the last 2 years. Starting with Bulbul, then Amphan, Yas, and now Jawad. There have been few other cyclonic impacts of smaller scale as well. This despite people in Sundarbans hardly contribute to climate change. When UNFCCC has agreed to start dialogue formally on loss and damage of climate change, as part of the Glasgow decision, we should demand immediate initiation of such dialogue in Sundarbans and calculate the loss and damage already occurred in Sundarban ecosystem, including the same incurred by nearly 5 million people living in the area. Sir, I want to ask another question to the Honorable Minister, which is this. Why Glasgow disappoints? This is an article by Sham Sharan, who was our principal climate negotiator for 15 years. Sham Sharan has written, in the Climate Pact, there is more ambition to tackle climate change, but little in terms of concrete action. Sham Sharan has also written, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had taken center stage at Glasgow. We all saw his photographs laughing away with Boris Johnson of UK and the UN Secretary General. During his early high-level segment, thanks to the absence of Xi Jinping, his commitment to achieving net zero carbon by 2070 compared favorably with China's target date of 2060. His announcement of enhanced targets for renewable energy were also welcomed. However, the favorable image wore thin by the end of the conference, with India declining to join the initiatives on methane and deforestation. India's ill-considered amendment to the phasing out of coal pushed the positives of his position of the radar. Why did you put that amendment on coal? That is the question. Sir, what ultimately was announced by India at Glasgow is this. We had 5 goals. One is zero emission by 2070, non-fossil energy capacity to reach 500 gigawatts by 2030, 50% of energy with renewable energy by 2030, projected carbon emissions by 1 million tons from now to 2030. Carbon intensity of the economy will be reduced by 45% by 2030 over 2005 levels, and net zero emissions. Now, where is the money? It is estimated that it would cost 7 lakh crores to achieve these 2030 targets. So far, Government of India has only got a fund of 29 lakh crores. Out of it, 9 lakh crores is from international sources, 20 lakh crores from its own resources. Now, where would the rest of the money come from? Actually, the developed countries have promised 100 billion US dollars towards the developing countries. Per year, yes, but they haven't done so. In Glasgow, it was noted that the developed countries have not contributed. So I'd like the minister to state where he would get this money from. Now, sir, we all know that what global warming is. It is due to the emission of carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere. Chlorofluorocarbons are emitted by your ACs and by your refrigerators working overtime. Now, over a period of years, they create a shield around the Earth's atmosphere. At night, heat is to be radiated out by radiation, which doesn't need any material medium. But this shield does not let the heat escape. Heat gets trapped. So over a period of years, global warming starts. And global warming leads to climate change. Our aim was to limit this to 1.5 degrees centigrade. But it seems that this 1.5 degree centigrade rise will happen before 2030. All over the world, urgent action is needed, because what is happening, sir? What is happening is very serious, sir. I'll just briefly state that this is climate change is causing extreme weather phenomenon, rise in sea level, fall in agricultural production, impact on human health. Sir, we are holding very glamorous international conferences. The environment minister always is a representative there. 92 were the Rio summit, 97 were the Kyoto Protocol, 2009 were the Copenhagen summit, 2015 were the Paris Agreement, 196 countries contributed to national determined contribution. And now, in 2021, we have COP26. Now, the main problem is a roadmap has to be announced. I'll end by saying that time is running out. Tagore had written, "Dao fire she aranyo lohe nagor." Give us back our forest and take away our cities. We human beings, sir, you are from Kerala, you know. There are small island nations. All these islands will be submerged. Maldives had a cabinet meeting under the water to emphasize how climate change is affecting island nations. We also have Lakshadweep close to your place. We have Andamans. We'll all be affected. What is the government's roadmap for shifting to renewable energy? What will happen to the coal-fired thermal plants? There is a problem with renewable energy that it is intermittent. It's not continuous. Sunlight varies, water level varies, wind varies. So how to have a continuous power grid? The main thing is to create an environment consciousness among the industry, which in our country are biggest polluters. You are mentioning how Dachigram reserve forest is being destroyed by cement plants. We have to look towards. It's true that we have to raise the standard of living of our poor people, but it's also true we cannot do it at the cost of the environment. We must preserve the entire environment. That's why we promise all out support if the government takes cogent steps, well-planned, well-thought-out steps to mitigate climate change and ensure a better future for us. Thank you, sir.